put it in your purse. I think we're there. Hello.
Even this is so phony. Like we weren't speaking to each other.
We should do like a re-intro, like hit record, walk out of the rooms, maybe even just go do something else for like a couple of minutes just to cleanse the palate, and then come back in, sit down.
How long is enough time where it's a fresh meeting of each other? If we sit down and catch up and chat like we do, and then we were to put the headphones off, walk away, how much time has to pass before it becomes a new, fresh hang?
I don't think it's about the amount of time so much as it is about the
memories we make along the way.
Yep. I think it's about how much happens in between those two times.
So something substantial needs to happen.
Right. For example, let's compare two periods of time. Let's say 4 hours and 4 weeks. So in reverse order, let's say I left you for 4 weeks and all I did in that time was eat, sleep, and read one article from The Guardian per week. I would come back and feel like a semi-fresh hang because I've slept since then, but I wouldn't have much new for you. Now, 4 hours. If I left you for 4 hours and through some miracle or biological anomaly, I give birth to a child in that 4 hours.
Well, we've got some things to discuss.
Right. And that feels more fresh.
So stupid.
What do you think?
I think I just don't like any of the pretense of podcasting where people pretend that they weren't hanging out for a good bit beforehand, or the scripted openings and stuff like that. I just can't get into it. It's not us.
Yeah, podcasting has its own version of the, oh, I didn't see you walk in there.
It's the, oh, are we rolling? Oh, we're recording? I just thought we were having a natural conversation.
Who does it best?
I don't know. A lot of people do it. I think Mark Maron takes credit for inventing that.
Oh, for the Are We Rolling thing, where he'll have folks come in thinking that they're not rolling yet and have a very natural conversation.
Yeah, they're just chatting.
I mean, that just makes him a great producer/engineer, because anybody in music knows that you should get the rehearsal performances on tape as well.
You gotta get those levels.
In fact, this is not my story to tell, and I don't even know if it's the right one, but I'm pretty sure a good bit of the lead vocal from Christina Aguilera's Beautiful was the rehearsal take.
I believe it. I like how you so humbly suggest that it's not your story to tell. You weren't in the room.
Right. It's not mine. I don't want it to seem like, I don't know if you know this, but when I was in the studio with Christina Aguilera recording,
when you were 13,
I don't want anyone to get it twisted.
You know what? I say let people get it twisted. Life is hard enough as it is. Let people twist some things.
I just don't want people to think I'm something I'm not. I don't care if you dislike what I am. I just don't want you to think that I'm not that.
Jerod, would you describe yourself as someone who's not really into drama?
Generally, I would try to avoid it, but I do think it's necessary. I think the shadow proves the sunshine. You know what I mean?
I think that there's no one in America willing to admit that they just love drama, that they thrive on it. And it seems like usually the people who are saying like, oh, I don't get into all that drama. Those people are really into all that drama.
That is a weird one, because people will often say things like, I'm not crazy. And they're crazy. But think of how many sane people you know who've said, I'm not crazy. So it's more that it doesn't always mean the opposite. It just doesn't mean anything.
Is there any vice that people will cop to like that?
I think funny people would. Funny people are like, yeah. Oh yeah, I like a bit of drama. Keeps things interesting.
I don't tell the truth sometimes. Like no one says that. No one admits that. But We know liars. How come no one fesses up to it ever?
Well, I think there's a portion of liars that are liars. And then there are a portion of liars that believe they are telling some form of the truth.
Sure. Yes. Yes.
But you're right. There aren't a ton of people who, like, if they get a new job and they're like introducing themselves around the office and it's like, tell us a fun fact about you. Very rarely does it include them going, I eat alone in my car at night.
I have 3 crippling addictions that are legal. I'm perpetuating a cycle of abuse that was passed down to me from my parents. It's just what I am.
Or even just like lower stakes things.
Yeah. I'm a flake. I will make plans and then I will not show up.
Or being late. Hey, why were you late? I pulled up to your house and I had 12 minutes left on this episode and I decided to listen to it. I thought that was more important than coming in here on time.
I just don't respect other people enough to show up on time. It's just a weird thing about me. I'm one of those unique people who don't respect you.
I like that framing of it. The idea that it's a quirk.
Yeah. Here's my neat little thing.
The top 5 people's time I value is me, and me.
And if you're not one of those 5 people, you're lucky if I'm putting my pants on at our scheduled meeting time.
I had a conversation with another friend of mine, and we were talking about how good it feels when people cancel plans.
Yes.
And I asked her what she was doing on a particular day with like a strong wink. And she was like, nothing, we should hang out. And on that day, I texted her and said, hey, I can't make it.
You're welcome.
Just giving that satisfaction.
Yeah, so generous of you. Oh man, how freeing are canceled plans?
Yeah, if it's on the calendar, I don't want to do it.
These are all traits of bad people. Some of my favorite bad people are in the world of professional wrestling.
I hope I know where you're going with this.
I think you do. Let's get into minute 20 of Home Alone, if you don't mind, Jerod.
I don't mind one bit. I'm going to let you finish. And I want to give that to you. But before we do that, can we round out the who's bad and who's not bad by the last little bit of what we started last episode, which is, that's real crystal.
Yes.
This is the conspiracy to commit theft. Is that what we would call this?
You can build a case for that, I believe so, depending on how valuable this crystal is.
What are the things now? It's excess of $1,000 with inflation. That's,
look, I'm proud to not know the difference of what charges I could catch by the dollar amounts. Do those adjust for inflation, by the way? Like, do they like take a look at those yearly and go like, all right, a felony is now it's $12,000.
It is not yearly. It is when it gets brought on the docket. So quite often there are things that are in dollar amounts that disproportionately affect people who are in a crime adjacent lifestyle.
Okay.
Which generally is, yeah.
Marginalized in the justice system, maybe?
Well, most crime is crime of opportunity and crime of socioeconomics. It's poor people, right? And if you steal bread to feed your family and inflation has caught up so much that now bread costs above whatever that threshold is, now it's no longer, oh, you get, 24 hours in a jail cell for feeding your kid. It's now like, oh, this is a felony or something.
Yeah, pay heed, Jean Valjean. So yeah,
put it in your purse.
Yeah, the 20th minute starts with Uncle Frank continuing his pleas for his wife to steal first class airline crystal tableware, and then as sort of like a nice hybrid of his distracting the stewardess or flight attendant and also his alcoholism, maybe,
and greed.
Yeah, I think it's more of his greed.
It's just gluttony, really.
It's free, isn't it? So fill it up. It's practical, really. If it's free, well, how about I save you some time? You don't have to come back around to me. Let's just top this thing off.
I hadn't looked at it that way, but he is being really efficient with the attendant. He's saying, look, I understand what it's like to be in the service business.
You're working hard. Let me make this easy for you. Just bring out 3 glasses, please. Tell you what, lady, leave the bottle.
It's that. Like,
yeah, can we just get a pitcher of sweet tea, please? Oh, no, you don't do that? Okay.
I remember someone did that for our table, left a pitcher of sweet tea, but then also told us not to give it to any other servers because it doesn't need to go back into rotation because that's against some sort of health code.
Okay.
So I don't think they meant to shame us, but it was also like, I'm doing this for you, but it's creating a lot more work for me than you think.
I didn't realize it was against any codes. I don't want anybody getting in trouble over this.
See, I don't think it is. I think that's a pretty loose interpretation.
But maybe some overzealous store manager was like, no pictures. It's a health code.
Right.
Okay. Fair enough. The second time he says fill it up, it strikes me as very rude to this lady.
Well, it comes out in a very forceful yet seemingly involuntary way. He almost yelps it.
He can't help himself, right? He's just awful.
Well, and I don't know if, just going back to his line previous, I don't know if it's his delivery or if it's just something that's click-clacking around in my noggin, but I love the idea of shutting someone down with saying, put it in your purse. Like if someone's saying something to you and you just had enough, you're like, put it in your purse.
I will add that I think they knew they had something special with Uncle Frank here because none of this stuff is in the script. That whole exchange is not there. So I really think that they cast this guy. They said, you know what? He's special. Let's feed him a little more.
Another great segment from the Home Alone Minute that I've completely forgotten. Have we checked in on the screenplay? What do we want to go through the rest of this first and come back?
I'll chime in where it's relevant. I've looked over this portion of the script and gotten a pretty good idea of what's there and what isn't there. More or less faithful, no big surprise. John Hughes, why mess with gold? Yeah, so recapping the minute. We've got Uncle Frank trying to steal, needing more champagne. Then we got a little dialogue between Kate and Peter, and then we go back to Kevin. We check back in on Kevin, who's still kind of like searching around the house for everybody. Hasn't really sunk in that they're not there.
Yeah, it's a quick 1-2 this minute.
Mm-hmm.
It's plain business and home business.
It's almost half and half, too. It's almost 30 and 30.
Would you say that was a pre-cap?
Well, I watched it, so I am recapping what I've seen. I guess I'm pre-capping for anyone who hasn't watched it.
It depends on the point of view, right? So context-based.
Yes, these things are relative. I'm just capping, which my teenage students would advise me against.
I was about to say,
yeah,
that is not slay.
It's not very cash money of me.
No cap.
Oh, we need to stop. Jerod, who are your favorite wrestling heels?
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Okay.
I think the transition from Hulk Hogan to Hollywood Hogan was a great heel turn.
Yeah, all-timer.
In fact, I would say that's the heel turn.
It's the ultimate one, for sure.
The Attitude Era from WWF had a lot of heels. In a similar vein, the WCW had that by way of the NWO. But I do like the classics. I know there are some folks who will probably have some interesting lists here, but I liked the ones that marketing told me I was supposed to like, I suppose, because I don't have a lot of hot takes here. I legitimately enjoyed loving to hate, I guess, some of those folks. You know, the Kevin Nash thing. Like it was great to see the Giant Killer storyline with Rey Mysterio Jr. taking him down.
Oh, okay.
But for the record, I have never been a fan of wrestling.
You knew enough about it to fake your way through that conversation.
No. Yeah, is that a vice? Because I would openly admit that. Like, that was a big part of my, yeah, we'll call it childhood.
Yeah, I was super into pro wrestling at an appropriate age. 8, 9, 10, around there.
Right. Yeah.
That was like early 90s WWF for me.
The big metal logo, WWF.
Yes, exactly. And I was teased quite a bit for that. A lot of people at school and stuff saying, it's fake, it's stupid. And I just sort of appreciated the melodrama of it, the costumes, the personalities. I liked. I really appreciated uncomplicated heroes and villains. Here's a good guy. Here's a bad guy. Here's the face. Here's the heel, to use the wrestling terms. And then eventually, all the teasing, I guess, got to me, and I just sort of gave up on it. And then wrestling got really cool, and all the NWO stuff popped up, and everybody, and Stone Cold Steve Austin popped up, and it seemed like all the cool kids at school liked wrestling all of a sudden, and I wasn't watching it anymore. It's like they waited for me to leave the party before walking into the party.
This is not an attempt to out victim you, but in addition to being made fun of for liking wrestling, I also got made fun of by the couple of kids in my school who did like wrestling because they liked WWF, and they told me that the WCW, which was my favorite at the time, was gay. So an outcast among outcasts.
Oh, man.
But I did take a different tack, I think, because I'm far more defiant than you. So when you tell me that what I'm doing is not cool, I'm like, oh, I'm going to keep doing this.
There was a little bit of that. I mean, I just couldn't help myself, but I just sort of, I think I kind of grew out of it at an appropriate age, around that like 12, 13 age. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess I'm over wrestling. It's a little simplistic. It's a little corny or silly. All right, I guess I'm done. And then the second I'm done with it, the D-Generation X kids take over, and everyone's slapping their crotches with crossed arms, and I was suddenly on the outside looking in all over again.
Did you periodically check in with it? Because after I was out of that phase, like as an adult, I've been to a couple of events. Like I've been to a WrestleMania and stuff, but like I didn't know any of the people.
Yes, I've had that same having to text a friend, be like, I'm at this thing. Who should I root for? Because the lines are so much blurrier now. And I think everyone's in this very meta state of appreciation of wrestling. It's like all the wrestling fans, they're watching it for all the moves that the whole corporation is making at the same time. It's not just like, here's the good guy dressed up like an American hero, and here's the bad guy dressed up like a voodoo king. Like it's gotten so much more complex.
Yeah, I think they started that when you and I were kids by bringing in managers, right? So you'd have these guys, Jim Cornette or whoever, who might actually be a manager, but is also like playing a manager, right? And then that opens up okay, well, who are these managers interacting with? It's like, who's the face of the company? So you've got your like Vince McMahon, you've got your Eric Bischoff, you've got these guys who are the face of the company talking about it. But yeah, at this point now, it's blurred the lines to where you really don't know what's real or not.
I feel bad for the 8-year-old kids trying to watch this stuff and making sense of these really complex meta storylines and stuff, when really they just want to see a good guy versus a bad guy.
Could you imagine being a kid and being like, I don't think the Undertaker's dead?
Yeah, it was such simpler times. The guy came out to funeral music and looked like a zombie, so you knew he was bad. But now he comes out, he looks like a biker, and you're like, oh, yeah, he's bad, but in the good way.
He's misunderstood.
He's just like me. Yeah, this is all Limp Bizkit's fault, honestly.
Do you think Fred Durst feels like a heel?
I think he did for a while. I think he's past that. I think whatever Limp Bizkit's doing now is a very self-aware, fun version of what they're doing. I think they kind of know that they're old dudes playing, kind of outdated butt rock, but why not have some fun doing it?
Do you feel like a heel?
Like right now?
No, like if you were going on a cruise and I wasn't, or like you were sitting in first class and the kids were in coach.
That doesn't make me feel like a heel. I think a heel, by definition, takes delight in their wrongdoing, and that's not how I feel most of the time.
So, for those of you who haven't been following, we are talking about what could potentially be projection based on what you're saying, which is, don't you feel like a heel? Because I clearly do, because I'm delighting in the fact that the kids are in coach.
Yeah, Kate's sitting here putting on her makeup and just having that thought that, is this wrong that we're up here in first class where we can steal the tableware while our kids are flying coach to France?
In this shot, I had a bit of I took notice of something that I hadn't really taken notice of prior. And I don't have like an eidetic memory, but most things, if I see, it's more just seeing them more clearly as opposed to feeling like I'm seeing it for the first time. And did you notice her bracelet in this shot?
Oh, no. What's up with that bracelet?
It is colorful. It's like gold and has gems in it. I don't know if it's supposed to be like costume jewelry, but it's quite loud.
She's got one of those dangly ones.
I guess you're just so caught up with the fact that Peter has a napkin tucked into his shirt, or that she's got the compact, or like the dialogue, or you're just passing over Frank. I don't know what it is, but this was the first time I'd noticed it. And I encourage you to go back and look at it.
What is a little interesting here is Peter's reaction to this gives us a little hint that the McAllisters aren't generationally wealthy.
We don't know what kind of station wagon it was. Aunt Laura and Uncle Arthur could have a mansion.
Here's what I love to think about. I love to think about the idea of little Peter McAllister hopping in the station wagon, going down to Aunt Laura, Uncle Arthur's house. This must be like the 60s, I guess.
Yeah.
We're in like sort of maybe the early mid 60s or so.
Yeah, because he was probably born late 50s, early 60s.
Something like that. And there's untapped...
No seatbelts. You're looking out the back of a station wagon?
Yeah. Peter sat in the back. No, Frank has claimed the back for himself. Right? He's like taking his socks and shoes off and sort of, he's already like laid out sideways.
I almost see Frank more up in the front, like with his mom, trying to like weasel his way into something, like buttering them up kind of thing.
Sure.
He's like taking that moment to brown nose.
Or maybe he was the troublemaker, so they already sort of preemptively sat him middle seat up front between the parents. But what I'm thinking is that there's untapped prequel energy here of a young Peter McAllister, his brothers, Rob and Frank. They're going out to the farm. There's some trouble afoot. Maybe the bank's coming to take it away. Maybe you got I don't know, cattle robbers. What do you call those people?
Yeah, cattle robbers.
Okay.
You're just describing three ninjas.
Yes, but I need I need some Home Alone level farm related booby traps to thwart some bumbling villains, whoever they may be. Your 1960s farm heels, whatever those are. Your Undertaker, your Papa Shango, your Sergeant Slaughter, whatever you got.
Big Boss Man.
He was not a heel. How dare you?
Thin Blue Line.
Oh, I forgot. ACAB. We're an ACAB podcast. We all know that.
A certified ACABP.
Oh no, not Big Boss Man. There's got to be some exemption paperwork we can file, right?
Ray Traylor, gone but not forgotten. He was a good guy.
Oh yeah, I really years and years and years ago, I tried to convince one of my students. We had to do like senior projects at the school, and the kids kind of take on like a self-directed, maybe a volunteer endeavor or a career-related research project or something like that. And this one girl, her family was friends with the Big Boss Man. And I was like, this guy means a lot to you, and he's a local hero. You should organize a petition to get a statue made of the Big Boss Man in our community. She's like, that's a great idea. I don't think she went for it ultimately, but that would have been great.
So we have 2 calls to action so far for the greater community. 1, the prequel. If you are a screenwriter, director, producer, we will fund this. 2, the Big Boss Man deserves a statue.
Yes.
So if you are a philanthropist, a sculptor, or someone who is good at distracting people in public property, you are needed.
We're putting a crew together.
We got to hurry up and get that prequel done before John Williams dies.
Ooh. Yes. Yes, we do.
Or we just go ahead and commission him to do the music now. Just give him like the notes and like kind of the beats of it, of the story, and he'll sort it out.
He can fart it out in an afternoon.
Okay. Cut to Kevin McAllister. You know him. You'll love him. Walking through the hall with what looks like a glamour shot of Buzz.
It's true.
Like, could absolutely be one of Devin's headshots.
Yeah. Hallway Guardian, Buzz McAllister, glamour shot.
Yeah, the perfect background for the 8-year-old to start going, hello.
Now they have this like laundry chute right outside of the parents' bedroom, which has some like as if the clothes sometimes don't make it all the way through the door flap and they get stuck there.
You see something similar on the first floor, like in kind of the kitchen dining area.
Yeah, and that's my question, is that these chutes don't line up, do they? I'm trying to sort of picture the architecture of the house, but this isn't immediately above the one that's in the kitchen, is it?
Do they not have 2?
I guess they have 2, but that also seems weird.
Yeah.
This house is so big it needs 2 laundry chutes.
Well, you've got the east laundry chute and you've got the west laundry chute. Wait, how many did you have growing up?
Back in my day, if you wanted to send your laundry down to the laundry machines, you had to open the door in the kitchen and throw them down the stairs.
Oh, you didn't have a cracked plastic basket that was always in fear of cutting you?
I think at some point my mom sort of abandoned that ideation that we are the kind of people who can handle a hamper and just cave to the simplicity of there being a pile of laundry on the floor by the washing machine and just picking everything up off the floor and washing it and bringing it back upstairs.
From an efficiency standpoint, I'm there with you. You'll get no complaints from me if you are a hamperless household. Like, why put dirty things in a compartment?
How often do you wash your laundry hamper?
For the brief period where I had one that had like a cloth lining, it was probably monthly.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But no, that's why you got to get those, like something plastic or at worst wicker.
I don't think that's worst.
It's way worse than like plastic or like an open air basket or something.
It's not as it's not as bad as like a big bread bowl.
But like the lid, the carved out bread lid, just sort of sitting next to it. Ooh, is that sourdough?
Wait, pinch off a piece. Oh no.
What kind of hamper do you have? Sourdough.
It's big enough for about a sock. So we got to make multiple trips down to the laundry room, basically.
But you were saying about the clothes kind of hanging out of the chute. Did I interrupt you while you were saying something about that?
I think I wanted to just mention that. I think the 2 laundry chutes
that we know of.
But also, like, the kitchen's so clean, but somewhere in that sped up running around, like, these people can't just push those clothes just past those so they're not hanging off the laundry chute door. That's not something that, like, Peter and Kate both don't just sort of take care of the night before as they're leaving. That seems like a quick fix. I think they only do it so we, the audience, recognize it as a laundry chute.
I think both things can be true. I think both it was done so we would know what it is. But I think there's also a very real possibility that that's something the kids did on their way out in the morning.
Sure.
I also see it as a very like clear public versus private space delineation because we see this in these like lived in areas, like the parents' bedroom, which Kevin's sort of walking into here. It's very much in disarray because it's sort of a lived in space. It's very private, whereas the kitchen dining is this public entertaining area. So its default is maybe to be more put away as opposed to the top floor, not the third floor, but the second floor is just what it is as opposed to being cleaned up.
I'll buy that, especially in that earlier we saw the second floor being almost exclusively like immediate family only kind of a situation. Rod's in Buzz's room for a little bit, but other than that, in this upstairs area, it's been all Peter McAllister's clan. So I'll buy a little more sort of lived in comfort. This is our mess kind of thing.
Yeah.
As opposed to below where everybody's hanging out. Let's tidy that space up some. We also get a good look at the bathroom. We sort of saw Peter go into it earlier, but the camera kind of shows us more of Peter and Kate's bathroom here.
Where he was looking for his razor or the voltage adapter.
Yeah. So we get a little peek at that because we were at a slightly different angle in Mom and Dad's room. And then we hop into Buzz's room.
I will take note of one other thing that we see in the parental unit room, which is that vintage sewing machine.
Yeah.
Which is not the only one we see in the house and lends itself again to her having that as part of her profession because it's not there on display. It clearly has thread on it. So it is being used. And I think Kevin's even talking about it, or he's even talking to it when he goes, "Where are you guys?"
We get a good "Where are you guys?" out of Macaulay Culkin here. Good delivery. Jerod, would you be surprised to learn that the script explicitly points out the tarantula in this moment?
I would not be surprised.
They do such a good job in this movie of bringing that spider back just as soon as you're about to forget that he's there.
Like there was something that I was pondering. Oh, it's Spider. There it is. Yep.
Oh yeah, he's got that spider. It's a good shot, sort of like starts like the spider's tank or cage or box or whatever you call that thing. The spider hole.
The spider cave.
Yeah, this is wainscoting all over again.
I would say it's a terrarium.
Sure. No wainscoting on the terrarium, by the way.
Plenty of wainscoting in the hallway.
Sure.
Plenty of wainscoting in, not the room, because the room's all wallpaper, right?
Yeah, and a border. Buzz's room.
Well, so the parents' room is wallpaper. The parents' bathroom, I believe, is solid color. I don't think either have wainscoting, though.
Now that we know the word, we're
going to use it all the time.
Toss it around very freely.
This week you know.
Jerod and Sonny's wainscoting and Home Alone report.
But yeah, I think Buzz is a different wallpaper. Sans wainscoting. But a terrarium, we'll say.
Yeah. We see the tarantula scurry for a moment as Kevin walks into the room looking for Buzz. And he's not there. Ice-T's there.
I do appreciate that poster.
Yeah, it's a good one.
We get a much better look at the posters that I think we've talked about a bit earlier on.
Yeah. See previous episodes for an exhaustive breakdown of everything in Buzz's bedroom.
Just think someone is either they would be just underneath the camera or just in front of it out of frame tapping to make the tarantula move at the beginning of this scene.
Oh, yeah, I wonder. Probably, right?
Because it's this, like, she? Do we know? I don't know.
I think Buzz calls it a he earlier, but I bet Buzz doesn't even know either.
Yeah, because I'm like, I just fed him a load of mice guts.
I think he just ate a whole load of...
Yeah, he doesn't even say that, like, he fed them. He's like, he ate. I don't know. So he's in the back corner, if you're looking at it, the front left, but it's in the corner, and then it starts sort of scurrying toward the door as we pan out to reveal the door.
It's a good camera move.
And animal mastery.
Tarantula wrangling. Tarangula.
Tarangling sounds like another thing that it's part of homes that we didn't know about. It's like a very specific border. Like, oh, that's the tarangling. But yeah, we get Buzz, Spider, Buzz. We get Buzz, spider activity, and then Buzz.
Yeah, we get a good Buzz. And then we're out. That's minute 20.
That's it.
Jerod, since the last time we spoke about Home Alone, how many people have sent you the news that the Home Alone house is, again, up for sale?
Goose egg.
Really?
I think this just goes to show that you have friends and I don't.
Here I go bragging again.
Are you going to take all your friends on the cruise with you?
I'm so sorry.
You're going to take them to a pool for Memorial Day?
I've said it already to you before, but there are only 8 weeks of the year where my job is better than your job. Let me have them, please.
How many people texted you to tell you that the Home Alone house is back on the market?
I think 4.
That makes me so happy.
So you haven't seen any of the updates? You haven't seen the videos out there on the social media?
Videos?
Jerod, I'm telling you, buddy, you can tour the inside of this home now. Like, there are real estate agents who have put in the work.
Oh, man. Okay. So I'm guessing who's doing the virtual tour? Is it a Matterport?
Oh, no idea. No idea. It's what I saw was really blurring the lines between social media just for likes and clout and stuff like that, and sort of like a legitimate, hey, would you like to buy this home? Because if you have $5.5 million,
I was about to say, I was about to guess that as the listing. Is it what? 5.5?
Yeah, they want
5.25 maybe.
Yeah, 5.4 or something like that. But yeah, so you get to go inside. We've been to the outside of this house, but now I've seen the inside. Wallpaper gone. It's been maybe frustratingly modernized. A lot of white walls. Downstairs, movie theater and a half basketball court.
There's no like furnace.
No, there's no cartoonishly anthropomorphic talking furnace anymore.
Then where are they getting the other $4.5 million in value?
I don't know. I guess they've installed some sort of other face your fears mechanism for your children.
It's the basketball goal.
Yeah. It's got like sort of an ominous look to it. It's got.
How did that make you?
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, how did that make you feel? Because I mean, you knew that wallpaper and all that stuff has been gone for years, but
yeah, of course.
Like seeing the state that it's in now, what does that do?
I mean, honestly, not a whole lot. what, 30 years have gone by?
A bit more, I think.
30, yeah, 34, I guess, something like that. And
because all you have to do is go back and watch this, right?
Yeah.
And it's back.
The house as I love it still exists on this movie that I can turn on whenever I want. For it to be a place where actual people have to actually live, you got to take that wallpaper down. You just gotta.
I think of it the same way I think of any actor, because I do think the house is a character. John Hurd's dead. If you've seen Culkin, O'Hara, any of them recently, very different. But
the house is probably the only character that looks better than it did.
Better, you'd say?
Well, I mean, it's gotten a fresh look. Yeah, honestly,
boring look.
Sure, but
I'm saying this as if I've seen anything.
Well, I mean, Jerod, you're in some home planning decision making yourself. Like if the missus came to you and said white walls or floral wallpaper,
divorce.
Don't joke about these things. I like you guys together too much.
All right, floral wallpaper.
I don't want to have to choose in the split. Who gets me?
Ooh, yeah.
I mean, I guess you do. Who gets the podcast? Does your wife have to start doing the podcast with me?
I think so. I think I get the band, she gets the podcast.
Okay. That's how you divvy up the
it's a shared custody. That's our Beanie Babies in the front of the courtroom.
That's how you guys split up the Home Alone's empire. She gets international publishing and you get domestic.
Okay. Same question to you.
Yeah.
White walls, floral wallpaper.
Yeah, I'm going white walls.
What if it was Buzz wallpaper? Because his is subtle. It's like stripes.
No, still no.
But they're thin. They're vertical stripes, so it makes you look thin.
No, it makes the walls look thin. It makes me look chubby by comparison. Big fat Sonny sitting around in this skitty room.
I actually don't know about that. Like from like an optical perspective, are vertical lines around you better than horizontal?
There's only one way to find out.
Yes. Buy the Home Alone house, reinstall the vertical stripe wallpaper, and the BB gun.
As nice as it would be to live in a $5.5 million house, as nice as it would be to be able to brag about living in the Home Alone house, it does sort of seem like an overall inconvenience. Maybe not a nightmare, but maybe a inconvenience to have idiots in bands mosey up to your front yard and take pictures on a fairly regular basis.
I was just thinking about how much it would cost to heat the thing.
Oh, I mean, I think property taxes. Are you crazy?
Oof.
What do you think the property taxes in Winnetka are like?
I don't know. 10 pizzas times $12.